Chop, chop, Rebecca, up and at 'em. Time to run lines.
At this ungodly hour? You can't be serious.
Well, my dear, I noticed you were a bit shaky in the second act.
Tony, I can't possibly run lines now, not after that beastly rehearsal.
Oh, buck up, Becky. Opening night will be here in less than 24 hours.
Mr. Lane,
Yes, Charlie.
will you be locking up?
I'll take care of everything, Charlie. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Tony, I beg you, let's run lines in the morning. I'm completely done in.
Well, perhaps you're right. Get a fresh start at daybreak. Would you, I'm not Simon Legree, you know. Would you care for a nightcap?
No, thank you. A cup of tea, I should think.
Could do with a drink before climbing out of this monkey suit.
Well, I admit that tonight's dress was a bit ragged, but you know what they say. Bad dress rehearsal, good opening night.
Then we're bound to be a hit. Remember the first time we saw our name and lights together? The old Oyster Bay Playhouse on Nantucket. Raise the Roof, starring Anthony Lane and Rebecca Byington. You were a revelation that night. I'd never seen you more radiant and alive. I think that may have been the first night I fell in love with you.
Tony, don't.
The stage didn't need lights, not that night. Not with you up there.
Tony, please.
Can I tell you your fortune? I'm very good at telling fortunes, you know. See this line in your pretty palm? That's the heart line. And it tells me that someday we may both regret this.
Don't think I don't know what you're doing.
What do you mean?
It's a very good performance, Tony, but it won't work. My mind is made up. Let us look to the future. Your future, my future, and the future begins with you signing those papers.
Did you wiggle the knob?
Yes, I wiggled the knob. I always wiggle the knob.
Because I didn't see you wiggle the knob.
Nevertheless, I wiggled the knob. I wish you would get someone to repair that old range.
You mean old? I brought that into the theater the first summer we opened.
That was 1947, for heaven's sake, over 10 years ago.
Do you know what it costs to repair a gas range? All you have to do is wiggle the knob. I don't see why you need to make such a fuss.
Are you going to sign those papers or not?
Ah, yes, the papers.
Well, are you?
I must say, Rebecca, picked a fine time for a divorce. Should be a bit of publicity, though, don't you think? Ladies and gentlemen, step right up and see Dinner for Two, Two for Dinner, starring Anthony Lane and Rebecca Byington together again for the very last time.
Let's not quarrel tonight, Tony. All I ask is that you sign those papers so we can move on with our lives.
Are you sure, Rebecca? Are you sure this is what you really want?
I know it seems cold and unfeeling, but we've grown stale together, both on and off stage. We've had a good run, Tony. Think of it. Broadway, summer stop, and here in the Poconos in our own little playhouse. But after we open the show in New York, I want a fresh start, professionally. And I admit it personally, too.
By personally, I assume you mean your little friend.
Let's not get into that tonight. We have an opening to think about.
How is Peppermill, anyway?
Pepperdine. You know damn well his name is Reginald Pepperdine.
A word of advice, proceed with caution. I wouldn't want to see your name dragged through the tabloids.
You have a vulgar turn of mind.
Why, Becky, my thoughts are as pure as the driven snow.
The only thing pure about you is the Bombay gin coursing through your arteries.
Go ahead, insult me. What's one more cut among 1,000?
Oh, admit it. You'd love to see me on the cover of the Daily Mirror.
Now that you mention it, I can see the headlines now.
Don't you dare.
Rebecca Byington, caught in Pocono love nest.
That's enough.
Caught in Pocono love nest with
I'm warning you.
chorus boy!
Not another word.
All right, 2 words then. Chorus boy.
Reginald Pepperdine is not a chorus boy.
Please. You snagged him out of the chorus. Then what was he doing in the chorus of Fiorello? Did he just wander in off the streets kicking and tapping?
It was a job. It put food on the table until he could land a role in a dramatic play. And I'm proud, yes, proud, that I could help an artist such as Reginald Pepperdine fulfill his promise.
You snagged him out of the chorus like a vulture snagging a rabbit.
I know talent when I see it.
Talent!
Yes, talent. But of course you're unfamiliar with the word.
Oh, please, give me the papers, I'll sign them. Don't let me keep it from your chorus boy.
Stop calling him a chorus boy.
Step kick, shuffle change.
Shut up!
Thrown over for a peppercorn. That should happen to me. Anthony Lane, a Hamlet for the ages.
Don't you mean an aged ham?
mock me, but never mock my Hamlet. I have the notices here somewhere.
Look at you. You're green with jealousy.
Jealous of a third-rate Hofer? Rebecca, you know I hate musicals. Where's my pen? I hope you and Pepperdine will be very happy together, you and your new protege.
Oh, protege? Shall we talk about proteges? Let's talk about Hazel Hula Hula Kelly.
Why, Rebecca, whoever do you mean?
Hazel Hula Hula Kelly? It's neither a name nor a figure you'd soon forget.
Are you perchance referring to Anastasia Petrov, one of the finest actresses in the English-speaking theater?
She was Hula Hula Kelly when you took up with her.
I don't care for your tone, Rebecca. I'll have you know there was nothing untoward between myself and Anastasia. I tell you, I know talent as well, and that woman was born to play Chekhov.
She was born to play Minsky's where you found her.
I tell you, that woman was another Eleanor Duse.
Oh, when did Eleanor Duse ever bump and grind in a grass skirt? If you don't sign those papers, I swear I'll take the next train to Nevada and have this marriage renovated. I swear, one way or another, I shall break the chains that bind. I shall be free of you, do you hear? Free.
Free to pick up with a pepper grinder?
Oh, I've had all I can stand.
All right, fine. Get me a pen, I'll sign.
There, now sign.
What? With a fountain pen? Oh, no. A mere fountain point won't do. I have something much more important for something like this. My quill pen.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
The very pen George Farquhar used to pen the bow stratagem. I knew I'd find a good use for it. Ha!
Oh, why does he torture me? Why?
Psst. Rebecca,
Reggie, what the hell are you doing here?
I've got great news.
You've got to get out.
You'll never guess what happened. I landed a role in Do Re Mi.
What?
Do Re Mi, a new musical starring Phil Silvers. I'm in the chorus.
You drove to the Poconos to tell me that.
Well, I telephoned, but Tony answered. What's he doing here anyway?
He's my husband, you nincompoop. We're in rehearsal.
Well, look, I've been rehearsing too. I learned a new step. It's called a paradiddle. Heel, brush step, heel, brush step. Heel.
Are you mad? Are you out of your mind? Tony will be back any second.
Tony? Where? Where is he?
He's in his dressing room. He'll be back any moment.
Let him come. I'm not afraid of him, not anymore.
Oh, what are you going to do? Challenge him to a tap dance?
Divorce? I'll give you your wretched divorce.
Oh my God, it's him, it's Tony. What am I gonna do?
Get out!
Fight me, fight me.
Here I come, Rebecca.
Oh, something, Joey.
Out of here!
I won't stand in the way of you and your inamorato. Let the divorce proceedings begin.
Quick, get in there. Don't come out until I tell you. Understand?
Produce the offending papers.
You're going to sign them with that?
King John signed the Magna Carta with a pen such as this. Our divorce papers require no less.
Where are you going to get the ink?
Ink?
Don't you need to dip that thing in ink?
I don't need ink. I'll sign it in my own blood.
Don't make me laugh. You can't nick yourself shaving without thinking.
Oh, no?
No.
Watch me. Where's my fishing knife?
Tony, don't.
Aha! I'll open my throat and use the same knife on Richie.
His name is Reggie. And that's a prop knife.
Damn it. Where's my sword, the one I used in Richard III?
Reggie! Reggie, open the door!
No, get me out of here.
I can't, it won't budge.
A divorce, a divorce! My kingdom for a divorce! I'll give you your wretched divorce, Rebecca. Then you and Pepperdink can tour all the great theaters of the country, playing all the great couples in literary history. Roxanne and Cyrano, Romeo and Juliet, Abbott and Costello.
Sign the damn papers.
Oh, I'll sign them. I will sign them with relish and pepper. Ah! Kill you!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Ballantyne. I'm the director of tonight's show. And on behalf of Edna Flutterbach, our executive producer, I'd like to welcome you to the Apple Grove Playhouse for the world premiere of Two for Dinner by Elliot Nugent. As you may know, the production was scheduled to be opened in the summer of 1960, starring Anthony Lane and Rebecca Byington. Unfortunately, that production was forced to close before the curtain went up. But here we are. More than 50 years later, and we have lined up a great cast. Performing the role of Nigel Post is the very talented Roger Darling. I'm sure you'll recognize Roger from his TV commercials as the Alpine Aftershave Man. Joining him is the star of the popular cable crime series Cold Storage, the very gifted Jessica Alexander.
Bravo, Jerry.
I was just going over my curtain speech, Mrs. Flutterbach. I know we don't open for 2 weeks, but I believe you can't be too prepared.
Spoken like a dedicated director. I don't know if I ever told you how impressed I was with your production of A Chorus Line at the Hinkletown Dinner Theater.
Thank you, Mrs. Flutterbach. Although I wish I could have done the full version instead of the abridged version. It's difficult to convey the idea of a chorus line with only 2 dancers. It was more like a chorus couple.
Well, nevertheless, it was that production that convinced me that you were the perfect person to lead Apple Grove Playhouse into the future. I just poked my head in to see if Miss Alexander had arrived.
Not yet, and I'm worried. Flight from LA got in hours ago, and her limo should have been here by now.
Oh, Jerry, you know it's a star's prerogative to keep people waiting. Come to think of it, I'm still waiting for Sybil Shepherd. Anyway, when Miss Alexander arrives, we have to do everything in our power to keep her happy.
I'll do my absolute best, Mrs. Flutterbach.
Oh, I'm counting on you, Jerry. Apple Grove Playhouse is counting on you. Have you ever seen her show, Cold Storage?
Didn't she play an autopsy technician or something?
Yes, a vampire hunting autopsy technician. Oh, you should have seen the way she hammered that steak. Bam, bam, bam. No vampire stood a chance.
Too bad that went off the air.
Oh, what does the CW know anyway? Jessica Alexander can't get arrested in Hollywood, but she's big in the Poconos. We're doing a boffo box office, and I gotta be honest with you, Jerry, we desperately need the cash. Theater ain't cheap. Care for a little pick-me-up?
You keep the liquor in the oven?
I hide it from my apprentices. The little dears never think to look in the oven. Care to join me?
Oh, no, thank you. Does that old thing work?
Only as a liquor cabinet. It was disconnected years ago after what... We don't need to talk about it.
I meant to ask, why 2 for dinner? I mean, why after all these years? What made you decide to do the production now?
Well, I felt bad. The script has been in the attic gathering dust, and I thought this was the perfect time to present the play in honor of Mr. and Mrs. Lane, the founders of the Playhouse, especially in light of what happened.
What did happen, Mrs. Flutterbach? Was it an accident?
Good evening, Apple Grove Playhouse. What's that? This is Mrs. Flutterbach, executive producer. I'm sorry, there seems to be some trouble on the line. Oh, say what? No, the name's not Fluffernutter. It's Flutterbach. Flutter as in butterfly, Bach as in Johann Sebastian. Hello? Hello? That's the third time that's happened this evening.
Someone call for a leading man?
Oh, Roger, darling!
Oh, Jerry, old sport.
Meet Mrs. Flutterbach, the executive producer.
I'm
Welcome.
thrilled to be here.
Welcome to the Apple Grove Playhouse, Mr. Darling.
I brought a little something for you.
Begonias, my favorite. How did you know?
A little tropical bird told me. Look at this place. I just love summer stocks theater, and especially in old cow barns like this. I bet if I close my eyes, I could smell the hay.
Ah, wait until July. You'll be smelling a lot of other smells, too. You're standing right where the stalls used to be. Roger, I know this might sound silly, but would you say it?
You mean the line from my commercial?
Would you mind?
You don't know how often I get requests. Alpine aftershave. Cool as the Colorado Rockies.
Wonderful. Jerry said you would be perfect for the role of Nigel Post, and I can tell he was right.
Oh, you're too kind. So when do I get the pleasure of meeting my leading lady?
Actually, we're expecting her any minute.
If you gentlemen will excuse me, I'd like to freshen up before Miss Alexander arrives. Roger, it was so nice meeting you. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with the part. Yes, indeed. I can't wait.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
Did you hear what she said?
What did she say?
She doesn't think I'm right for the part.
She said you're perfect for the part.
I know. That's what she said, but what did she really say?
She said you're perfect for the part.
Subtext, Jerry. Subtext. She said she can't wait to see what I can do with the part. Oh, did you hear how she emphasized the word wait? As in she can't wait to see me fall flat on my face?
Roger, you're sabotaging yourself. Why do you always sabotage yourself?
I don't know why I do it. You know, first I'm thrilled I got to land the part. You know, I'm walking around, snapping my fingers like Sinatra. And then it happens. Dark thoughts fill my mind, and I think, I can't do this. I can't act. I'm a fraud, and the whole world knows it.
Roger, calm down. You've got an opportunity here. Just say you're finally working at the Apple Grove Playhouse.
Yeah, but after all those years of rejection...
Hey, Roger, cut out the negative thinking. It's about the right part at the right time, and this is your time.
And it's my part.
Roger, darling, you are Nigel Post.
I'll do my best. You got any Evian in the fridge?
What are you doing?
I'm thirsty.
You're not drinking that bottle of water. Put it back where you found it.
It's just a bottle of water.
That's not just a bottle of water. That's Jessica Alexander's bottle of water.
This particular bottle?
That bottle and every other bottle in there. Mrs. Flutterbuck got it just for Jessica. It's the only kind she'll drink. That's according to Parade magazine.
What's in it anyway?
Pulo Visi, Finnish mineral water.
I didn't know the Finns were famous for their water. Ice skates maybe, but ooh, look what we got here. Kiwis. I love kiwis. And I know the trick at peeling them.
Don't touch those.
Let me guess. They're Jessica's favorite fruit.
According to Parade.
Can I just have one, please?
Roger, I'm warning you. Keep your hands off of Jessica's kiwis.
Whoa. I have no intentions of touching her kiwis. For goodness sake. What's the fuss over her anyway? When you told me I'd be working with her, I barely remembered who she was.
Shows how much you know. She has a huge following, especially in northeastern Pennsylvania. Mrs. Flutterbuck wants to keep her as happy as possible, and I intend to do just that. Look, Roger, you're not the only one who's wanted a job here. I've wanted one for years. Now that I've got it, if I play my cards right, it could turn into a full-time gig. Do you hear me? A full-time gig! Resident director of the Apple Grove Playhouse! I'll never have to do equal time dinner theater again!
Take it easy.
I'm sorry, Roger. You're looking at a desperate man. I can't go back to dinner theater. I just can't. Oh, I just can't look at another plate of broiled salmon.
And you won't have to, not after 2 for Dinner opens.
You like it? You like the script?
Do I like it? It's delicious. It's ambrosia. 2 down-there-luck socialites forced to work as a butler and a parlor maid. I love it. The best thing Elliot Nugent ever wrote. And you say it's been locked away for 50 years in a trunk?
Locked away and forgotten. Until now.
What a find. You know, I can imagine what Anthony Lane and Rebecca Byington would have done with the script. I hope I don't sound too callous, but lucky for me, they didn't live to do 2 for Dinner. Now I get a crack at the world premiere.
Yeah.
Oh, is everything all right?
Oh, everything's fine, Mrs. Flutterbuck. A poster fell off the wall, that's all.
How's that for coincidence? 2 for Dinner, starring Anthony Lane and Rebecca Byington.
Oh, that was no coincidence.
What do you mean?
I just hope they don't cause too much mischief.
Who?
Mr. and Mrs. Lane.
Anthony Lane and Rebecca Byington?
Yes. I suspected something last night when I was locking up the theater. The house was dark. The only light was coming from the exit sign. And as I went to open the doors to the lobby, whoosh! A cold breeze came down the aisle. Brr, I can still feel it.
It was probably the air conditioning.
No, Jerry, I turned off the air conditioning. And just now in the wings, I could swear that I smelled the scent of my Sin Eau de Lavant.
What does that mean?
My Sin Eau de Lavant, Rebecca Byington's favorite perfume.
Are you trying to tell us that the theater's haunted?
Who wears my sin these days?
There's no such things as ghosts, right?
Mr. and Mrs. Lane are fairly harmless. I just hope they behave.
How do you mean?
Mr. Lane likes to give the actors notes.
Oh, I hope not during a performance.
Yes, and there have been sightings, too. Actors have reported seeing them backstage. Sometimes they appear as a green vapor floating through the air, and other times they look as real as a person alive. And one time, they appeared to the audience, too.
On stage?
Yes. It was during a production of Private Lives. Suddenly there were 2 Elliots and 2 Amandas performing the scene at exactly the same time. The audience was so confused. They thought it was an experimental production by Noel Coward. And the actors, they were traumatized. In fact, the actor who played Elliot is still heavily medicated.
And you say Mr. and Mrs. Lane are here now.
Don't you see? It's because of the play. I should have known 2 for dinner would stir them up.
Well, I hope I don't run into them. Last thing I want is another actor giving me notes.
You know, I wouldn't mind meeting Rebecca Byington.
Be careful what you wish for. She could be eavesdropping right now.
You believe that?
Yes. Let me tell you what happened to them. After the final dress rehearsal, they came back here to the green room. And the next morning, they were found on this love seat. Oh, don't worry, we've had it reupholstered. Yeah, they were found right there. Variety reported they looked like Romeo and Juliet, with their hands wrapped around each other's necks, pulling each other in for one final kiss. Ah, yes, the story of Anthony Lane and Rebecca Lane is one for the ages, for never was a story more woe than that of Juliet and her Romeo.
Well, someone tell me what happened.
The gas range.
Well, what about it?
Investigators determined that it had a faulty line. You see, you had to wiggle the knob to make sure that the gas was turned off. And we'll never know for sure. But either Anthony or Rebecca forgot to wiggle the knob. Poor dears, they had no idea the range was leaking gas. They never detected an odor. The additive had degraded. And sadly, it was curtains for Mr. and Mrs. Lane.
Oh, no.
Where the hell is Jerry Valentine?
Miss Alexander!
You bum!
What?
You lout!
What did I do?
Let's talk about what you didn't do.
What didn't I do?
The limo?
Oh, you didn't like the limo. Wrong color. Wrong model.
Tried you never showed up.
Oh, well, I will never use Scranton limo again.
Great, because I had a direct flight to Newark.
Newark?
Got a rental limo from Newark to Mount Pocono. A limo ride from hell. The driver was from Karachi, and he must have stepped off the plane just ahead of me because he had absolutely no idea where he was going. And then I kept on calling this number, and all I heard was, Fluffernutter! Fluffernutter!
Oh, that was you on the phone? Oh, the name's not Fluffernutter. It's Flutterbach. Flutter as in butterfly.
And Fluffernutter as in nuts.
Well, Mrs. Fluffernutter is our executive producer.
Then how about producing me a drink?
How about a nice bottle of Finnish water?
What?
A bottle of Finnish water. I have a whole case of Pulavisi from Helsinki.
What are you talking about? I need scotch.
Would that be scotch and water?
A splash of water?
Finnish water?
Do you have some obsession with Finland?
Miss Alexander, may I ask where you've been all this time?
Where have I been? I will tell you where I've been. The driver dropped me off in the middle of nowhere where I wandered around a cornfield and was attacked by 2 crows. But on the nice side, I didn't have to worry about my luggage.
Oh.
Yeah, because the airline lost my luggage along with my script of 2 for dinner. China should be putting on a production any day now. And I had to pee in a pasture. Oh my God. I peed in a pasture!
Now, Miss Alexander. From time to time, if it's any consolation, I've peed in a pasture too.
Look at my favorite wig. It's ruined. And my Ferragamos.
I think you look positively stunning, Miss Alexander.
Who are you?
Roger, darling.
Don't get fresh.
Oh, no, you don't understand. Darling's my name, Roger Darling. Maybe you recognize me from my commercial. Alpine Aftershave, cool as a Colorado Rocket.
Why is he doing that? Why would he hitting himself in the face?
I'm the Alpine Aftershave man.
I'm so happy for you.
Begonias. Jerry, give her the begonias. Feeling better?
Again.
Give her the begonias.
Miss Alexander, I'd like to give you a token of my admiration.
What's wrong?
I can't breathe. I feel like somebody is rubbing raw onions into my eyes.
Raw onions?
I only get like this when there's begonias in the room. Are there begonias in the room? Stop slamming that door. Splitting headache.
Oh, would you like an aspirin?
Oh, what about a kiwi?
What about it?
Oh, would you like one?
For a headache?
You love them. According to Parade magazine, you'd kill for one.
Who the hell is this?
Roger's your leading man.
This guy?
You bet your beer a wang, baby.
Oh, calm down, Roger.
I will not calm down. You expect me to work with this harpy?
He didn't mean it, Miss Alexander.
I say you didn't mean it, Roger.
I did not come all the way to Poconos to be insulted.
I wish I would have known. I would have telephoned and saved you the trip.
Why don't we all just calm down and relax?
And have a drink.
Permit me to say, Miss Alexander, that you're no Catherine Cornell.
Catherine who?
You ask, who is Catherine Cornell? The first lady of American theater. Sacrilege. You are not theater like the rest of us. You're cable TV.
Stop slamming that door!
See you in the morning, Roger. Rehearsal at 10.
I don't know how you see it, but from where I'm standing, there seems to be a real chemistry between you two.
Where's Johnny Walker?
In the kitchen.
God, get him in here.
Oh, Miss Alexander, when you agreed to come and perform Two for Dinner in our humble little theater, well, you could have knocked me over with a feather. It's been ages since we've had an actress of your caliber trod the boards of our playhouse. Back in the day, there was a galaxy of stars. Joanne Worley, Soupy Sales, the Smothers Brothers, you name them. Now, we can add your photo to the Apple Grove Playhouse Wall of Fame. I can think of no other actress today who possesses your charm and sophistication.
Right now, I smell like manure.
Oh, and you must be exhausted. Why don't I show you to the inn?
Nope, you've done enough already.
You'll feel better once you get out of that muddy dress.
You forget. I have no clothes. They're in the People's Republic of China.
I'm sure we can find something at Walmart. Jerry, if you ever want to make resident director, you better make this right.
Oh, great. Just terrific. Another classic Ballantyne production. A Titanic disaster. Oh, my God, I didn't know you were there.
What did you say?
I didn't know you were there.
You can see me?
Sure, I can see you. Who are you, anyway?
I work here. You could say I've worked here a very long time.
Oh, sorry. I'm new here myself. My name's Jerry Ballantyne. I'm directing Two for Dinner. At least I hope I am. And you are...
Becky.
Nice to meet you, Becky. Oh, wow. You're cold as ice. Are you feeling okay?
Just ducky under the circumstances.
Never felt a hand so cold.
Oh, then I guess you never met David Merrick.
Wait a minute. That outfit you're wearing,
What about it?
that is the perfect costume for Two for Dinner.
I'm not surprised.
In fact, that's the exact costume we need for Millicent Post.
Let's get down to brass tacks. It's Ballantyne, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell me, Ballantyne, why is that woman playing my part?
I beg your pardon?
That unpleasant woman who walked out of here moments ago? Why is she playing my part?
Your part?
Elliot Nugent wrote that role explicitly for me. He tailored it to my talents.
You're trying to tell me Elliot Nugent wrote Millicent Post just for you?
He wrote Two for Dinner as a vehicle for me and Tony.
Oh my God. You're Rebecca Byington! But that's impossible! You're
Dead? I believe the word you're looking for is dead.
Is Mr. Lane here too?
I suppose the dope's lurking around somewhere. He spends most of his time roaming around backstage. You see, Tony hasn't quite accepted his fate yet. It's as though the stage manager is holding the curtain and he's waiting in the wings forever.
Oh, I must be in the Twilight Zone. Rod Serling's gonna walk in here any minute.
I must say, I question your judgment, Mr. Ballantyne. How could you possibly cast that fishwife? What's her name?
Jessica Alexander.
How could you even consider her for the role of Millicent Post?
We needed a name, a draw to sell tickets. She was a popular television star.
Television? Is that thing still around?
Aha!
No.
Oh, yes, caught in the very act of betrayal.
It's not what you think, Tony. This man is Ballantyne.
Oh, really?
Mr. Ballantyne is a director.
Oh, a director, you say?
Mr. Ballantyne is directing a new production of Two for Dinner with new actors. Actors who have a pulse.
What are you going on about?
Oh, how many times do I have to tell you that we're dead? Dead as doornails.
Why? Because we don't scratch and mumble like method actors? I mean, Rebecca, we may be a little out of touch with the times, but we're far from dead.
Maybe you can make him understand.
Mr. Lane, how do I put this gently?
What did you say?
You passed away in 1960.
Don't be absurd. Do I look dead? And for your information, the year is 1960.
No, Mr. Lane, it's 2018.
Rebecca, this man is in need of a physician's care.
Tony, don't you think it's odd that we've been trapped in this theater having the same tedious argument over and over for what seems like eternity?
Isn't that the very definition of marriage?
Wait a minute. Maybe this will convince you. Yeah.
The New Yorker.
Look at the date.
This proves nothing. I can buy a gag periodical like this on the boardwalk.
Mr. Lane, what plays are on Broadway?
Toys in the Attic, The Miracle Worker, The Best Man. Shall I go on?
Why don't you check the theater listings?
Do as he asked, Tony.
All right, Rebecca, I'll play along if that's what you want. Ah, here we are. Oh my God, musicals, nothing but musicals. When did this happen?
We died over 50 years ago. There's been a lot of changes.
What, you mean I'm a ghost? What in the world? You. I'm willing to bet you're no more than you're letting on.
Me?
You're the director. Directors know everything, or at least like to think that they do.
Leave him out of this. He wasn't even alive when we died.
Well, go on, Ballantyne. Make me understand.
Well, from what I understand.
Go on.
Anyone for a game of pinochle?
Go on.
Mahjong?
The gas range.
What about the gas range?
Tony, why dwell on the past when we have eternity ahead of us?
The kettle.
No, wait a moment, Tony.
Wait. I remember now. We came down here for rehearsal.
Did we? I don't recall.
I went to make a martini, and you went to light the range for a cup of tea.
Did I?
You didn't wiggle the knob. I've told you 100 times, wiggle the damn knob!
Well, I asked you 1,000 times to fix that thing.
You couldn't even make a cup of tea without killing us!
It was an honest mistake. Haven't you ever made a mistake?
Not one that big. That was a doozy.
Please, I beg you, Mr. Ballantyne, help me. Help me pass over to the next world. I can't spend eternity with him. You see how he is.
Nor I with her.
Okay, all right. Let's think. We've all read the ghost stories and seen movies. What's the one thing that keeps a ghost from crossing over? It's often something left undone in life. Can you think of anything you've left undone? Something important?
Did we miss cocktail hour?
The divorce.
You were getting a divorce?
Tony, did you sign the divorce papers before we died?
Let me think.
Well, did you?
Well, I don't remember. I'm deceased. Have some consideration.
You didn't sign the papers.
Well, I'm almost sure I did. I put them over here on the desk.
You put them there over 50 years ago.
You moved my things. I've told you 100 times not to move my things.
Thanks to you, we're trapped here for eternity.
Never parted, and I think I know why. You missed opening night.
2 for dinner? Don't be absurd. We'd never miss an opening night. We'd rather die first.
That's exactly what you did.
The reason we're trapped is right there,
Don't you see? The play never opened.
and the show must go on.
There may be something to what you say.
And 2 weeks from now, when the curtain goes up on 2 for Dinner, you'll be free.
Free. Free from Anthony Lane.
So let me understand this. The show will go on, but with someone else in our roles.
Yes.
Well, since I have more than a vested interest in this play, tell me, who are the 2 people playing our roles?
You wouldn't know them.
Nevertheless, I'm interested.
Roger Darling
Unacceptable.
and Jessica Alexander.
Intolerable.
Sorry, Valentine, but I won't allow it. And as you know, directing is 90% casting. And since I have final say with the cast, you'll have to recast the show.
Mr. Lane, you're not in a position to make any demands.
How dare you!
May I remind you that this is our theater?
This hasn't been your theater in decades. I'm directing the production. I've chosen the cast.
We'll see about that.
Yes, we shall.
Mr. and Mrs. Lane, let me put this another way. If Roger Darling and Jessica Alexander don't perform 2 for Dinner, then the show doesn't open. And if the show doesn't open, you 2 will be stuck here for eternity together.
What time's rehearsal?
Good morning, Miss Flutterbuck.
Don't you look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed?
2 weeks in the mountains, and I feel like a new woman. Did you know the little lamb followed me to the theater this morning? Can you imagine? What a lamb!
How often would you see that in the city?
You like my outfit? Never in my life did I think I'd shop at the Agway. But I'm a country girl now. At least until I get back to Los Angeles.
You play the part well. And I'm happy to see that you're finally feeling at home.
Top of the morning, ladies.
Oh, ready to seize the day, Roger?
Yes, or as I like to say when I'm on tour, carpe per diem.
Morning, all.
Morning,
Good
Jerry.
morning, Jerry.
We've got a lot of work ahead of us today, so let's jump right in.
Excuse me, but before we begin today's rehearsal, there's something I need to say. I never really did apologize for the way I acted when I first got here.
No, nothing to apologize
You're
for.
perfectly charming.
You know, if someone should apologize, it should be I. I acted like the Frankenstein monster.
I acted like Godzilla on steroids.
No. I acted like the Frankenstein monster and methamphetamines.
Okay, listen up. The clock is ticking, okay? We open tomorrow night. Here's what I'd like to do today. There's a couple of scenes I want to clean up, and then I want to do a full run-through. After that, we'll break from dinner, and when we come back from that, we'll do a full dress. Mrs. Flutterbuck has agreed to fill in for our stage manager this morning.
But only until he finishes cleaning the chicken coop.
Okay, let's take it from the top of scene 2. Everybody ready?
Top of scene 2, people. Top of scene 2.
Thank you, Mrs. Flutterbuck. Okay, everybody ready? Stand by. Lights
Oh,
coming up.
Jerry, are these in fact the lights?
These are the lights, Roger.
Are these the lights for tomorrow night?
These are the lights.
I wasn't sure if these were the lights for the rehearsal or the lights for the performance.
These are the lights, Roger.
Thanks for clearing that up for me, Jerry.
Okay, let's try this again. Stand by. Lights
Oh,
coming
yeah,
up.
Jerry, would you tell me if I'm not in the light?
You'll be the first to know, Roger.
I just want to make sure the audience can see me.
I get that, Roger. Let's try this again. Ready? Stand by. Lights coming up and... lights!
I'm worried.
Don't be,
Why did I let you talk me into this?
because we're flat broke and we need to eat.
What if somebody should recognize us?
Who will recognize us? We don't know a soul in Newport.
The Bidwells.
The Bidwells won't be summering anytime soon. They lost their fortune in the crash just like we did.
Oh, the very thought of it. Employed as a parlor maid. I feel like a Romanov duchess in exile. Me, Millicent Post of Sutton Place.
Formerly of Sutton Place.
That was cruel and uncalled for.
It's the truth, and it's high time you accepted it too. Tonight, my dear, can you try your best to ladle the soup into Mrs. Vanderhorn's soup bowl? We don't want to repeat performance of last night.
It was cold soup.
The temperature's not the point. Mrs. Vanderhorn prefers her vichyssoise in a soup bowl and not on her bosom.
Did you hear how she spoke to me in that haughty tone of voice? Only because I may have dampened her décolletage.
Better get used to that tone of voice, my dear. We're on the other side of the table now.
The nerve of that woman.
She is the lady of the house.
The lady in the house should take a lesson from Miss Amy Vanderbilt. Why can't we be out there in the open air? What a perfect day. The ocean, the breeze, the sunshine. What a perfect Newport summer day. The sailboats look like children's toys bobbing on the water, and the people aboard like little dogs. Oh, the joy they must feel with the sun on their face and salty breeze in their hair. Oh, the joy of freedom. Oh, the joy that you and I once shared. Say we'll sail again, Nigel. Say you won't sail the salty dog. Will you promise me that? Say you won't sail the salty dog. Will you promise me that?
Line.
Promise. The line is I promise. She says promise, you say I promise.
How simple is that? Promise. Never to forget that line again.
Can we stop here for a moment?
Jerry, I can't hold my tongue any longer. That woman is stomping around the stage like a farmhand. She's playing Millicent Post, not Ma Kettle. She should float across the stage as light as a goose feather.
Oh, Jerry, could you hear me okay? Was I projecting?
Yes, I can hear you fine, Roger.
Could you see me in the light?
I could hear you and I could see you. Jessica, may I have a moment? I love what you're doing with Millicent. Just love it.
Well, you can tell that something's missing.
Not missing, not at all. You are the essence of elegance. But I think we have an opportunity here. I think we have the opportunity to make Millicent Post more elegant than she already is. Here's what I'd like you to do. Whenever you move, think of her as
a goose feather.
A goose feather.
A goose feather?
A fluffy little feather carried on the breeze. When Millicent Post walks, she floats.
A goose feather.
A goose feather.
Okay, I'm game. Is this something they taught you at the Actors Studio?
Yeah, at the Moscow Art Theater. Roger, would you pick it up from your line? Better get used to that tone of voice.
Is that my line? Better get used to it?
Yes, that's the line, Roger. That's always been the line. Better get used to that tone of voice.
What's my cue into that line?
Jessica, will you please pick it up from, did you hear how she spoke to me in that haughty tone of voice?
I'm sorry, Jerry. What's my cue into that speech?
Well, if that's the case, then I'll need the cue into my line that cues her speech.
No. For the last time, this is the cue. Now listen. Did you hear how she spoke to me in that haughty tone of voice?
What are you talking about?
That's the cue!
Oh, I thought it sounded familiar. One more time, please.
One more time.
tone of voice.
Better get used to that tone of voice, my dear. We're on the other side of the tracks now.
Table.
What?
Other side of the table.
What did I say?
You said tracks.
Did I?
Yes, you did. Do it again.
Jerry, what's my cue?
Jessica.
Did you hear how she spoke to me in that haughty tone of voice?
Better get used to that tone of voice, my dear. We're on the other side of the tracks now.
Table! Table! We're on the other side of the table.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you said tracks again. One more time from your line, Jessica.
Did you hear how she spoke to me in that haughty tone of voice?
Better get used to that tone of voice, my dear. We're on the other side of the tracks now.
Table! Table! We're on the other side of the table!
What did I say?
You said tracks. You keep saying other side of the tracks. One more time. From your line, Jessica.
Did you hear how she spoke to me in that haughty tone of voice?
Better get used to that tone of voice, my dear. We're on the other side of the table now.
The nerve of that woman!
She is the lady of the house.
The lady in the house should take a lesson from Miss Amy Vanderbilt. Look out there! What a perfect day! The ocean, the breeze, the sunshine. What a perfect Newport summer day!
What's going on? What are you doing?
Yes, what is she doing?
I'm floating like a goose feather.
Where in the script does it say you're a goose feather?
Explain it to him, Jerry.
Oh, rather than take the time to go over the goose concept now, why don't we jump ahead to the silverware scene? Roger, will you please pick it up from your line? The butter plates go on the left.
I sure do hope we're done with the goose feathers.
Ready? Stand by.
Goose feathers!
Lights coming up. And lights.
Now remember, the butter plates are placed on the left.
Butter plates are placed on the left.
Glasses are placed on the right.
Glasses are placed on the right.
Spoons, knives, and oyster forks are placed on the right.
Spoons, knives, and oyster forks are placed on the right.
Forks of other kinds placed on the left.
Forks of other kinds are placed on the left. Left, right, forks, knives. Oh, this is too
I think she's having some kind of spell.
much.
She's changing line readings, Jerry. Why are you changing line readings?
That's how I felt it.
She's never delivered that line like that before.
That's what I said.
Okay, all right. Let's stop here for a few minutes. Let's take 10, okay, everybody? Let's just take 10. Roger, I need to see you backstage.
Never in all my years of theater.
I can't work with that man. He's horrid.
Just give me a few minutes. I'll work everything out. I promise. Just sit tight. I'll be right back.
By the time you get back, I'll be on the way to my shrink.
Where's your shrink?
Beverly Hills.
Not funny, Jessica. Not funny.
Oh, you can't leave now. Think of the play. Think of the little lamb that followed you to the theater.
I'll think of that lamb all right. The next time I order chops.
Thank God I'm not mortal anymore.
Take it easy, Roger.
I can't work with that woman. She's horrid.
We have got to get through this rehearsal. We're running out of time.
I'd rather work with Godzilla or some other Japanese prehistoric monster.
Roger, we've got to get through this rehearsal.
You know, honestly, I don't think I can go on stage tomorrow night.
What did you say?
I don't know.
Did you say you're not going on?
I don't know, maybe. Don't pressure me.
Pressure you? Roger, we open tomorrow night.
Don't grovel. Directors do not grovel before actors.
I've put up with her Hollywood attitude for 2 weeks now. And I will not put up with it any longer.
For the love of God, Roger, think of what you're doing.
He's bluffing.
You cast me for no other reason to play second banana to Jessica Alexander.
Don't be ridiculous. You're just as important to the production as she is. It's a two-character play.
Which makes me second banana.
What's the difference between a first banana and a second banana and a two-banana play?
You're both bananas.
There's no show without you, Roger.
You mean that? You really mean that, Jerry?
Would I have cast you if I didn't think you were perfect for the part?
You cast me in a streetcar named Desire.
That was an emergency.
That was humiliating. Critics compared me to Alec Guinness.
And that's bad?
It is if you're playing Stanley Kowalski. No. I need time to think this over.
Time? There is no time. We open in 24 hours.
You know, I'm suffocating. I need to get out of here.
Say something, Valentine. You see I'm buying you time.
Did you lock the door? The door's locked.
Come on, Jerry, that's your cue.
We're trapped. We're trapped like rats.
Throw him a
Gotta
line,
get out of
Jerry.
here.
Throw him a line.
Calm down.
Not quite Arthur Miller, but that'll do.
See? The door isn't locked.
Not locked?
You're sabotaging yourself again, Roger.
Why do I do it?
Roger, there's something I need to tell you.
Better make it good.
I didn't want to mention this before, but
But what?
well, I have it on good authority that people from New York are coming over to see the show.
People from New York?
Yes, take a look at the show.
Good, good.
When you say people from New York, do you mean human beings or producers?
Producers?
He took the bait, now hook him.
Producers?
Roger, imagine if Two for Dinner goes over big tomorrow night. Imagine if the show were moved to Broadway.
Broadway?
He's hooked, now reel him in.
Imagine, Roger, can you see your name in lights on the marquee?
Roger, darling. And what's her name? And Two for Dinner on Broadway. This is a game changer now, Jerry. This is no summer stock production anymore. No. This is a bona fide out-of-town tryout. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. This is the big break I've been waiting for. I've got to dig deep into my character and get at the truth that Nigel posted. And you've got to help me. Okay. Don't let me reach into my old bag of tricks, the stammering to get a laugh and no over-the-top double takes or triple takes. No. It's imperative that I deliver an honest performance.
Yes.
Sincere.
Yes.
Authentic.
Can you fake it?
Absolutely.
Great. Now all you have to do is make nice with Jessica Alexander. Can you do that?
Can I do that? They don't call me charmingly insincere for nothing. I'm glad we had this talk, Jerry.
Oh, good. So we'll make nice with Jessica. We'll get through this.
Roger, this is the big breaker-rooney you've been waiting for. Stand back, Broadway. Everything's coming up, Roger. Everything's coming up, Roger.
What's got you so happy?
Jessica, dear Jessica, can you forgive a pig-headed old fool with no eyes to hear and ears to see?
You've been in this fool at our back 7, haven't you?
I'm as sober as the proverbial judge. I want to apologize for my behavior this morning, and it was beyond the pale. And I promise it will never happen again. This is my clumsy way of saying, can we be friends? Will you forgive me? Can you forgive me? May we be friends?
I'd like that!
Oh, nice to see you two have buried the hatchet. I hope Roger's been keeping minding his tongue if he knows what's good for him.
Oh, don't be too hard on Roger. It was a misunderstanding, that's all.
I'm so glad we're friends again. I'm ready to get to work, Jerry.
You're a very forgiving person.
I can't stay mad long. Now, 2 weeks ago, I might have murdered you with a sledgehammer. But now look at us! Hey, have you seen my script? I've been having these crazy dreams lately where I lose my script and I'm frantic, searching everywhere for it. Backstage, dressing room, everywhere. And I'm freaking out because I realize I don't know my lines. Not a single one. And then somewhere, out of nowhere, I hear my cue. I've got to go on, but I'm stuck in a deep, dark, creepy dungeon and I can't get out. I see a flight of stairs, but I can't move my legs. It's like I'm stuck in a vat of molasses. By the time I make it to the wings, my heart is beating like mad and I can't catch my breath to speak. And then I'm about ready to step on the stage, and then I realize, oh my God, I'm naked. Buck naked. More naked than naked. Totally nude.
I get the picture.
I never had a dream like that, Jerry. Jerry? Hey! Where's my script? Where did you find it?
It just popped up out of thin air. Yeah, That dream is a classic actor's nightmare.
Oh, man. You know, when I first got here a couple weeks ago, I acted the way I did because I was scared.
Scared of what?
Scared of acting in front of a real audience. I've never had to act in front of a real audience before, only a production crew. And that's why my manager thought it'd be a good idea if I did summer stock. And let's face it, my career isn't exactly burning up the airwaves, so it might lead to other opportunities.
And eventually come back around to television.
That's the plan. And that's why I was a little intimidated by you.
Intimidated by me? You? Kate Carter? Vampire hunter?
Intimidated because the theater is your world and I'm just a visitor here. I want to do a good job for you, Jerry. I really do. I don't want to let you down.
You could never let me down. I'm just a summer stock theater director. You're Jessica Alexander, big television star.
Big? Who are you kidding? Cold Storage went off the air 1,000 years ago. I have now entered the Norma Desmond stage of my career. You know, Jessica Alexander. She used to be big. And where is she now? You know how I knew my career was in trouble? I was standing in line at the supermarket, and I noticed the National Enquirer stopped running stories about me.
Were those stories about you too? Are you really a space alien from the planet Zorgon?
Yes, I am fluid and Klingon.
Oh, Jessica, you're going to knock them dead tomorrow night.
But what if my nightmare comes true? There are a lot of lines in this play, Jerry. When I did my series, I never had to remember more than 6 lines at a time. But I guess if I mess up, no one's going to know outside of theater, right?
That's the beauty of doing a play in the Poconos.
Because I'd be petrified if I knew there were producers or critics in the audience.
There won't be any critics or producers in the audience. There'll only be me cheering for you from beginning to end.
Oh, those are words I needed to hear. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. Ballantyne.
That's your cue, you fool. Kiss her.
Jerry, have you forgotten you're running a rehearsal?
A little voice is telling me that we need to get back to rehearsal.
You'll never make leading man, Valentine.
Yes. Back to work. Wait. Do you smell that?
Smell what?
That scent. Do you smell it? It's really strong. Right around here.
I don't smell anything.
It smells like cheap perfume.
Cheap perfume.
Calm yourself, Rebecca.
Maybe it's air freshener.
Nope, it's definitely something a floozy might wear.
Lucy.
Temper, Becky, temper.
It happens to be Mycin Eau de Lavande. Go on, tell her, Valentine.
It's Mycin Eau de Lavande.
You were perfume?
Oh, no, I don't.
It's okay if you do.
I don't.
If you did, it'd be okay.
I don't wear perfume.
Who then?
Mrs. Flutterbock. She was in here a few moments ago. Mrs. Flutterbock. She wears my sin.
Now that I think of it, my grandmother used to wear my sin.
Rebecca!
Oh, what are you doing with that vase?
The vase?
Yes, the one you're holding above your head. What are you doing with it?
Well, yeah, I think it looks better over here. Don't you think it looks better over here? It was throwing off the feng shui over there.
If you say so. You know, for a moment there, I thought I saw it hovering.
The vase?
Yes, out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw it hovering.
Oh, now that would be weird.
Very weird.
Well, let's get back to rehearsal before it's too late.
Before we go, I need to talk to you about a few of my lines. Some of them sound sort of stuffy, and I'd like to rewrite them. Here's what I mean. Millicent says, "Oh, the very thought of it implores a parlor maid. I feel like a Romanov duchess in exile. Me, Millicent Post, a certain place." What if I said, "I can't believe I'm working as a maid. I feel like a fish out of water."
Millicent Post wouldn't sound like that. Besides, you can't just rewrite Elliot Nugent's script.
Let's get him on the phone and ask him.
He's dead.
And what's the problem?
What's the problem?
No.
Oh, okay. I just thought I would ask.
No, you don't.
Oh my God! It's flying!
What?
My script! It's
well,
flying!
You know,
What the hell is going on here? First the face is levitating, and now I got a flying script.
Did you like it? Did you like the trick?
You're telling me that was a trick?
Ever since I was a boy, I've loved magic. Jerome the Great, that's me.
You're telling me that was a magic trick.
Have you ever seen a magician perform the floating light bulb? Well, I can make the whole lamp float. Want to see? Abracadabra.
Do me a favor, Jerry. Don't do any more magic. You're freaking me out, okay?
Absolutely. No more magic. Okay, let's get back to work.
Hey! I've never noticed this picture of Rebecca Byington before. She's kind of a plain Jane, wasn't she?
We should get back to rehearsal.
No, come over here and look at this picture!
Oh, I don't think that's a good idea.
Wow! This one isn't flattering at all. I wonder how many cans of Aquanet she has on there.
What's so funny?
Something's tickling me! Feathers! Goose feathers! Is this another one of your tricks, Valentine?
How did you do that?
I'm a ghost. Oh, we're sold out. The run is sold out. Somebody kicked me!
What did you do now, Jerry?
Oh, I'm innocent, I swear.
Hey, kids, are we rehearsed or what?
Out of my way!
Oh, Jessica, wait!
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
Back to California, where people are normal!
No, you can't. Tomorrow's my big break.
Oh, I'll head her off in the lobby. Very disappointing, Jerry. Very disappointing.
Oh, terrific. I'm through. I'm finished. And it's all because of you. You just bought me a one-way ticket back to Hinkletown Dinner Theater. Oh, I can see my future. And it smells like broiled salmon.
Well, my dear, thanks to you, it looks like we're doomed to haunt this theater forever.
Is the coast clear?
She's in her dressing room packing her things.
Good grief. You look like death warmed over.
I've gone 24 hours without sleep. I was hoping she'd see things differently in the morning, but no luck. Her mind's made up. Car service is on their way to take her to the airport.
To think, tonight was opening night, but it's just not meant to be. No roar of the crowd for me, no smell of the grease paint. This was my last chance at Broadway. Nadja Post was a role of a lifetime, but now it's gone. Poof. I blame you, Jerry Ballantyne. Yes, I blame you. You had to go and tell Jessica that the theater was haunted. You scared the sensitive soul half to death. No wonder she's packing her bags.
I tried to reason with her, but she threatened to drive a stake through my heart. Which I really wouldn't mind. The real pain's going to come when I have to refund the tickets.
You know, there's got to be something we can do.
There is something we can do. Why didn't I think of this before? Mrs. Flutterbach, you're going on in Jessica's place.
Me?
Yes, you!
Oh, well, I haven't been on stage in years. I don't know the lines.
You don't have to know the lines. That's the beauty part.
No lines?
We do the play in mime.
No! All she has to do is go on stage and move her lips. I'll read the lines from the wings.
Like singing in the rain.
Oh, do you think it'd work?
Of course it won't work. I'm not Donald O'Connor. I must be delusional. The stress is getting to me. I'm sorry, Mrs. Flutterbach.
Oh, you're not to blame. I'm the one to blame. I should have known better. I should have left the script for 2 for dinner in the attic gathering dust.
So that's it? That's the end of it?
You have any other ideas?
I think it's time to face the music. I'll have to cancel the show.
What about the play in mime? I look rather dashing in a t-shirt and tights. It's just a thought.
Is this your plan, sitting backstage moping?
What do you expect me to do? Anyway, we're in this mess because of you. There won't be a show tonight or any other night. 2 for dinner is jinxed, and you jinxed it.
What kind of talk is this?
Jerry's throwing in the towel.
You're giving up?
I can't work miracles.
Would Jed Harris give up? Would George Abbott give up? Would Arthur Fiduzel give up?
Arthur Fiduzel? Who's Arthur Fiduzel?
Exactly, he gave up.
Don't speak to me. There are equity rules about working conditions, and haunted houses are not covered in the handbook.
Oh, Jessica, wait.
She kicked me in the ass, Valentine.
She deserved it.
You deserved it.
What did you say?
I said you deserved it.
That's not you talking. She's in here, isn't she? She's in the room. Tell the truth. Is she in here?
No.
You are lying. I have got a bruise on my behind the size of Texas thanks to you.
I can't believe you're walking out on opening day.
These are not normal circumstances.
This is theater. Nothing's normal.
Out of my way.
What about the show?
Easy. You'll postpone tonight's performance until you find my replacement. The show doesn't have to go on.
You have no idea.
Out of my way.
Does your manager know you're leaving?
Starting to expand an after midnight infomercial. I don't know what the product is, but apparently I love it. Now get away from the door.
This might be a good time to grovel.
Please! Please! Jessica, I'm begging you. Please don't go.
That was great groveling, Jerry, as groveling goes. But I gotta go.
You're afraid of her. That's why you're running away. You're afraid of her.
Mrs. Flutterbach?
Rebecca Byington.
I am not afraid of Rebecca Byington. I'm just not going to put up with her, that's all. Do you hear me? I am not going to put up with you.
Jessica, don't you understand? Rebecca envies you.
I do?
She does?
Why would Rebecca Byington envy me?
Yes, why would I envy her?
Because tonight, you're going to feel butterflies in the pit of your stomach. Rebecca Byington will never know what opening night jitters feels like again. You're going to be Millicent Post, battling the depression, fighting to get back to your townhouse on Sutton Place with a river view. You get to bring Millicent Post to life. Rebecca never did.
How do you expect me to bring Millicent Post back to life with Rebecca Byington floating around? All I've heard about since I've been here is what a great actor she was and how perfect she would have been for the part. How will I ever measure up?
Good point.
What measuring up? You're Jessica Alexander, a star in your own right. You have your own unique personality, your own allure. Just think, you have a second opportunity. You have a crack at originating a character from a lost Elliot Nugent play. A second chance at acting. Jessica, this is a gift. If you turn it down, you'll regret it the rest of your life.
What a perfect day. The ocean, the breeze, the sunshine. What a perfect Newport summer day. The sailboats look like children's toys bobbing on the water. And the people aboard like little dolls. Oh, the joy they must feel with the sun on their faces and the salty breeze in their hair.
Does this mean you'll go on?
I must be crazy to do this. You better not kiss me again!
I guarantee she won't.
Then call me Millicent Post, and let's get run through on the road. We don't have all day.
Well played, Jerry.
Sound the trumpets. Victory is thine.
Oh, I didn't think she was going to do it. For a second there, I was this close to losing hope. But she's going on. The show is going on. And if everything goes right and all the stars align, you're looking at the next resident director of the Apple Grove Playhouse. Oh, that must be her car to pick her up now. How quick luck can change. Mr. and Mrs. Lane, when the curtain comes down tonight, you'll be free.
Free.
Free. And finally rid of me.
I wish you wouldn't put it that way, Tony.
Rebecca, I need to tell you something. Something I should have told you a long time ago, but couldn't.
What is it?
It's the story of a young, stage-struck lad from Scranton who took dancing lessons after school while the other kids played baseball. Oh, the other kids teased him mercilessly, but the boy kept on dancing, and eventually he got pretty good. Then when he was 15, he got a job with a vaudeville group, and he sang and hoofed it from Pittsburgh to Pottsville. Then one night, a traveling show of The Jest came through with John Barrymore. And the young lad thought, that's what I want. I want to be up there on the legitimate stage acting with John Barrymore. And the kid kept at it, and eventually he made it. And that's how a young dancer named Asher Lipinski became the great actor Anthony Lane. Sorry, I should have told you before.
Mr. Lipinski, meet Caitlin O'Grady from County Clare.
I'm coming. Hold your horses. Good evening, Apple Grove Playhouse.
Have you seen my shoe? Where's my other shoe?
No, I'm sorry. You've reached the phone backstage.
I slipped on a kiwi.
Sorry, Roger.
Oh, I almost broke my neck.
What? Jerry, have you seen my other shoe?
Water, I need water.
I'm coming. Good evening, Apple Grove Playhouse.
You should hear the buzz out there.
This shoe in the refrigerator.
There's my other shoe. Been looking all over for it.
Hey, Roger, remember what I told you. Louder and faster, louder and faster.
How do you expect me to be heard over that persistent
Can't
racket?
be finished by now.
Let's summer stop.
Never in all my years
ready
of
when the
theater.
curtain goes up.
Holy shiitake mushrooms!
What's wrong?
My foot is freezing!
The refrigerator.
His foot?
Shoe.
I'm in no mood for practical jokes, Jerry.
I didn't put your shoe in the refrigerator.
Never in all my years. Wee-wee!
I'm coming.
the room?
No.
She's gonna be here, though, tonight, isn't she?
Jessica, forget about Rebecca Byington. All you need to think about is your Millicent Post, and you've got to get back to your place on Riverside Drive.
I'm Millicent Post, and I've got to get back to Riverside Drive.
Take it moment by moment.
Oh,
Okay. Roger has his shoes.
Where is Roger?
I don't know. He's got his shoes.
Oh. Roger?
Sometimes curtain time seems to take forever. I think I'll go crazy waiting for the stage manager to call places.
Well, now that we're all gathered here together, I'd like to say a few words before the magic begins. As you know, tonight is a momentous occasion for the Apple Grove Playhouse. It's taken 50 years to produce this play. And I would like to thank all of you for being a part of it. We've already broken box office records.
Oh!
Thanks to you, the theater will keep its lights on next summer. Oh, but I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Elliot Nugent, the playwright, and of course the original cast of Two for Dinner, Anthony Lane and Rebecca Byington.
Here, Mrs. Flutterbach.
Well, kids, it's going on half an hour. I can feel electricity in the air.
Roger, is that how you're going on?
What do you mean? My trousers? Whoops. Wrong way!
Remember what I told you! Louder and faster!
it's been a long time since I felt butterflies.
Just remember what I told you.
I'm Millicent Post, and I got to get back to Riverside Drive.
Moment by moment.
Oh, thanks for the pep talk, Jerry. Now I know I've made the right decision.
Break a leg!
Jessica!
Is there a doctor in the house?
How is she?
She just nodded off.
Jessica? Can you hear me? Jessica, it's Jerry.
Hello, Jerry. Hello, Roger.
Jessica, open your eyes. It's almost curtain time. I can hold the curtain 10, maybe 15 minutes for you. Can you go on?
Hello, Jerry. Hello, Roger. Darling.
I don't understand. She was fine a few minutes ago.
Oh, I gave her a couple of Vicodin.
You what?
I gave her a couple of Vicodin. Was that wrong?
You drugged her!
She complained of pain.
Oh, she can't go on like that. She looks like Mary Tyrone.
Hello, Jerry. Hello, Roger.
Oh, this production is cursed.
We gotta do something. We got a full house, and not to mention the producer from New York.
Did you say producers? You said there was going to be no producers tonight?
That's because there is no producers.
What are you talking about? You told me there'd be producers.
Remember,
tonight.
Roger, there are no producers.
But the producers don't. How could I forget? Yeah, Jerry's right. Yeah, there are no producers. I don't know what I was thinking.
I don't believe you. I don't believe either of you.
Oh, trust me.
Trust you? You've done nothing but lie to me since I've been here. I told you what would happen if there were producers in the audience. I would go blank. I would freeze.
Oh, no blanking, no freezing.
What's wrong with her?
Oh, try stage fighting a couple of Vicodin, you idiot.
Do something.
Well, if she could talk, we could strap her to a handcart and wheel her out on stage. Only you had to open your mouth about the producers. Oh, help me put her on the sofa.
Always thinking about yourself, no one else. Snap out
Are
of
you
it.
crazy?
This is my last chance, Jerry, and she ruined it.
Snap
Cut it
out
out.
of it.
Listen to me. Cut it out.
I'm never getting another chance like this again. I'm never getting another chance.
No! Mrs. and Mrs. Lane, where are you when I need you? Oh, typical actors is not their scene and nowhere to be found.
What's all the commotion? What's the matter with her?
Why is he crying?
Who are you and what are you doing in my costume?
Well, unfortunately, I was caught dead in it.
He can see you?
Who is this woman?
Whoa. You can see them.
Yes, I can see them in costume, waiting to go on. Are they a replacement?
Oh, Jerry, you've got it turned around. You're the replacement. This is the original cast.
What do you mean, the original cast?
Anthony Lane, how do you do?
Rebecca Byington, charmed.
If you don't mind, Mr. Darling, I did come up with a few notes.
Jessica, thank goodness you're up and about. You had me worried. I came this close to canceling the show. Well, what are you two waiting for? The curtain's about to go up. Oh.
It's like the final act of Hamlet.
Oh, Vicodin, Kiwi, stage fright, pick one!
I'm doomed. Doomed to haunt this theater forever.
No, not doomed. Not forever. Not after the show goes on.
What are you going on about?
You two, you're going to perform the show tonight.
Don't be absurd.
I can see you. They can see you. For some damn reason, you're visible.
But how?
I don't know. Maybe it's because it's opening night and magic can happen on opening night. Maybe somebody up there likes us and has pulled some strings. Shakespeare, Moss Hart. I have no earthly clue. But all I know is we've got an audience out there, and they're expecting to see the premiere of Two for Dinner. And whether they know it or not, they are going to see it with the original cast as originally intended.
What do we have to lose?
The audience either sees us
Or they stare at an empty stage.
No actors. Brilliant concept.
Either way, it's a win-win.
we perform the play tonight, and either seen or unseen will be free.
What do you say, Rebecca?
Oh, wait a minute. My curtain speech. What am I going to tell the audience?
Well, just tell them the actor suddenly took ill.
Oh, but I can't introduce you as Anthony Lane and Rebecca Byington. They'll laugh me off the stage.
It's really very simple, Jerry. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, the two stars of tonight's show, Jessica Alexander and Roger Darling, have suddenly taken ill. In tonight's production of Two for Dinner, the lead roles of Nigel and Millicent Post will be played by Caitlin O'Grady
And Asher Lipinski.
Oh, there was a moment there when the curtain was about to go up, when my heart was in my throat. I thought they'd never appear.
But they did appear.
They look so lifelike.
Did you see how the audience leapt to their feet at the end?
They loved it, and the producers loved it.
I mean, there really were producers in the audience.
Yeah.
They may even want to move the play to Broadway.
Don't mention the word Broadway. No. Tonight was my chance up there. They should have seen me. That's the tragedy of it.
Don't worry, Roger. They may have loved the show, but they weren't so crazy about the cast.
I don't understand.
They thought that they were a pale imitation of Anthony Lane and Rebecca Byington.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
They want to come back tonight and see the show. Only this time, they want to see it with you and Jessica performing the roles.
Reprieved. Did you hear that, Jessica? I get another chance.
Will there be another performance, Jessica?
Say yes, Jessica. Please say yes.
Look, I wouldn't blame, after everything I did to you, I wouldn't blame you if you caught a flight back to California. I wouldn't blame you if you never spoke to me again, and I certainly can't expect you to believe me when I say I had no idea there were producers in the audience. But if you could just stay and finish the run, not for my sake, but for the sake of this old playhouse.
Please, Jessica. Please say you'll stay.
Why would I do that?
Well, kids, that's show business.
No. Why would I go back to California?
What?
Why would I go back to California when there's a show to put on here?
What a trooper.
Oh, Jessica, I think I love you.
Hallelujah.
I always said she had a heart of gold, Jerry. Didn't I always say that?
Always said that. Oh!
Thank you all. You're too kind.
Oh, it's us who should be thanking you.
You saved the show.
No worries. Anything for the theater.
All lines came back to us at the precise moment we needed them.
I did have a few notes, though, my dear. During the croquet scene, you're really going to have to pick up the pace for the next show.
There won't be a next performance for us. At least not us.
Oh, right, of course.
We leave the play in the hands of our fellow thespians, Jessica and Roger. And that's our cue.
Our revels now have gone. Our actors, as I foretold you. We are all spirits and fade and melt into air, into thin air.
Well, goodbye. It's been interesting meeting all of you, but I'm afraid I have another engagement.
Rebecca, before you go, I'd like to tell you I'd do it all again, knowing I could spend my life with you, and if we never meet again, I wish you all the happiness in whatever world we might end up in.
Don't you think you're being more than a bit unfair?
Unfair how?
Well, unfair to our audience.
What audience?
Why, the audience somewhere in the great beyond. After all, they'll be expecting Anthony Lane and Rebecca Byington, together as always.
From now on, my dear, you'll get top billing.
Well, I suppose all that's left is our final exit.
Well, how do we do that without a script?
Imagine we're on a stage, and somewhere beyond the footlights, watching in the darkness is an audience. We cross, stop for a moment, take one last look at the set, turn to look in each other's eyes. I take your hand, and we slowly exit stage left.
And they're gone.
Finally free.
Story over.
Not quite.
Mrs. Flutterbuck?
There is still one soul unaccounted for.
What do you mean?
There were 3 people in the theater the night the Lanes died.
A third person?
Another victim.
But who?
Now, see here, Rebecca, how long am I to be kept waiting?
Peppadoodle!
Tony?
If this were a real play, now would be a great time for a blackout.
That goes my way.